I had actually 3 jobs before. I was a timber salesman, I was a soldier, and I was a nurse. And I started with photography in the early 70s with very small cameras, and after that I really got better and better equipment, and 1992 I decided to become a professional photographer and making a living out of it. There's always only a very few days in the polar bear season here in Churchill where the light is absolutely perfect. So you really take advantage, you need to take advantage of it, and that's what we try this morning. It was 28th of December in 92, and a friend called me up and he asked me if I wanted to go with him to Africa, because there was a leopard family with 3 little cubs, and he said that it's never seen in the last 10 years. And he asked me if I want to join him. And I said, I can't do it because I'm on duty in the hospital. And he said, okay, then I take somebody else. And I said, no, just wait. So I called up my head nurse and I tried to find somebody else to take my job. And she said, no, there's no way. I said, what about I quit? And she said, you are crazy, how can you leave this job? And I said, I'm that serious about it. And she said, okay, I'll give you a call later on. So 20 minutes later she called and she said, if you want, you are out of the job. And I said, okay, I'm fine. And I made flight reservations, and it was the last day I was in the hospital. And haven't regret 1 minute of it. Yeah, there's a mother and a cub down there. So that's very exciting. And maybe there's even another one. Let's just check it out. Yeah, the first camera I had was a Kodak Instamatic 104. Very little snappy camera, but I enjoyed taking pictures with it. And after a while I switched over to mirror reflex cameras. That was a Praktica LLC, which was made in East Germany. And I had that for a couple of years. Then I went to Canon. EF was the first camera. That was a huge, big, semi-professional, heavy camera. And a little bit later I got a Canon F1. And in '89 Canon switched completely the equipment from the FD system, what was called, to EOS system. And I didn't like the new cameras who came out. So I switched over to Leica, and that's a German brand. And I'm shooting with their equipment until today, because they have beautiful lenses, and the quality is just extraordinary. And I like just shooting with it because it has a very nice touch to it, and it's all still manual. I like to shoot manual, and I don't like to have too many knobs and focuses and all kinds of other different stuff on the camera. So I like aperture ring and shutter speed. That's it. Very nice. Oh, yeah, here she is. If I would be a journalist for sports magazines or in the journalistic business, I definitely would have a digital camera because it's just much faster. For my purposes, I think I need to stick with the very highest quality you can get. And I mean, most people already have the opinion that digital is already better than film. But that's our single opinions, and everybody has his own opinion. I think that if you have very good lenses, if you have the best films available, they are still better and more vivid, more alive, and I have an original in my hand. So I can scan them after that and go from there. But all the publishers and people who make postcards and calendars and stuff, they still like to see slides where they can work with. So that is my main thing, and I don't want to become a slave of the computer. I mean, many of my friends are sitting for weeks and weeks sitting there and just editing their stuff, work on it, have a workflow, doing a lot of stuff on the in the Photoshop, and that is just not my world. I want to create the picture out here, and everything what I see in the viewfinder, that is the picture I wanted to take, and not just shooting something and make the rest on the computer. That is just not my field. And I want to still have a good conscience saying my pictures are not altered and not manipulated. If I don't get the shot perfectly, I just have to come back to try it again. So I better wait here till she comes to that little hump, and then I have a very good opportunity to get her in front of the water. But I have to be always very careful with what I'm hurrying. I start breathing very heavily, and then the glasses and the camera steams up, and then for a moment I don't see anything anymore. So I better relax now a little bit, force myself to relax. And when the really important moment comes up, oh, here she is. I mean, I'm always looking for nice subjects. Let's say you have a polar bear walking on a shore and you have icy rocks in the background and beautiful light. Then I just make a setting without any rules. I just compose it in a way I like it. And I have no idea about theoretically composing a picture, what is written in all the photo books, how with a golden line and all this kind of stuff. I'm not very good in it, but I know what a good picture looks like. That's something you don't see too often anymore. Somebody's changing film. Okay, ready to go. The big break in my career was when I had my first publication in the National Geographic magazine in '94, and there was one picture in it, the bear at ease. He was laying on the ice, and they chose it as a poster and sold it 20,000 times. So that was a big success. And after that I got to know an editor over there, and he promoted me very well, and in the year 2000 I got my first big story in there, and then from the year 2000 till 2005 I had 8 articles in the magazine. So I was covering lots of wildlife in the Canadian Arctic, of course polar bears, walruses, musk oxen, bald eagle, and a story on the Vapas National Park. This is very nice. Whoa. He's a big guy. Shooting in the north is mainly a land without fences. It's just a vast country, and the good thing over here is there's hardly any pollution in the sky. So when it is a sunny day, it's just bright, it's blue, it's deep blue, and the snow is very crisp, the air is very crisp, and it is just a totally different land than we are used to see in the south where all the big cities are. Making a book about this is a question of being persistent. You need, I mean, when you see this land and you see the potential, you know you can make something out of it, something really big, something beautiful. But you need to put a lot of time and a lot of knowledge into it. You need to have many connections to people who live here, who tell you where to find an Arctic fox den, where are the Arctic hares, what is the best time when the birds are coming in, what is the best time for the beluga whales, and that everything falls into place when you need it. And so it took me 10 years to complete the new book, The World of the Polar Bear, which reaches to the far north of the Canadian Arctic, all the way to the western Arctic, all the way to the eastern Arctic. the Central Arctic, and of course western coast of Hudson Bay. Up here you are part of the whole system, and that makes you feel pretty good and you feel free.